Mm. Oh, hey. My lollipop. Sorry about that. Hey, Denise, how are you doing? I gotta put my lollipop away. I have to hide it so Gracie don't get it. Hey, Cheryl, how are you doing? Can you guys hear me okay? Is the volume decent at all? Oh, there's Scuba Lady. It's good. Thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. I moved the microphone and I accidentally unplugged it. I went to unplug it. I've got a port, USB port for charging multiple things. You plug it into the computer and it gives you 5 more outlets. And I thought I was unplugging it and I unplugged the microphone. And the last time I did that, it messed it up. Well, good. It's good to see everybody. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad you can hear me. I was concerned that I messed the microphone up. It started a little sooner than I thought. I wasn't quite ready yet, but that's all good. I want to do something a little bit different tonight. We're going to go into some UFO stuff. Florida Lone Wolf, how are you doing? So good to see you. Thank you so much for jumping over and hanging out with us. We're going to do some tonight. I want to go over some articles. One of them, most of us are somewhat familiar with, and that was the abduction of Barney and Betty Hill. Years, I don't remember the date. I don't know if the date's, I think it was 65 or in the 60s, 61. We're going to be going over that. I got two different piles, or two different packets on it. And see, we got photographs in the second packet. Yeah. We're going to go over that one, and there's another one that I want to get into it, and it's just some hauntings. Just to do something a little different, just mix it up. All this stuff fascinates me. I'm not going to go hunting none of it, but it's just interesting to hear about. Yep, Denise says she does remember that one. Yeah, that was a real big case. Barney and Betty Hill, they were abducted, and there was I know it made the media, the mainstream media all across the nation when that happened. I wasn't born yet. I wasn't born until 69. But I remember hearing about that when I was 12 or 13 years old. Oh, Brother Kyle's here. It's good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone. We got a good time coming up upon us. Brother Rick is here. And Merry Christmas. I blew my nose to keep my nose from running. I've been outdoors today most of the day, and it has got my sinuses tore up. There's something in bloom, and it gets me every time. Not here. I do fine at the house, but when I get just south of here, about 20 miles southwest of here, something over there in bloom just wipes my sinuses out every time I go over there. But I went today over to the lease. I had to put out some feed over there, do some battery changes on the game cameras. And I went to put up another camera, and it was, I had a pretty strange experience. And I filmed it with a GoPro. I don't know how well it showed up on audio. I have not been able to edit it. I'm trying to understand the editing process on a computer, and I do not like it so far. I'm going to have to probably transfer it back to my phone to edit it, but if there's nothing in it, I probably won't do that at all. I won't even share it. What else we got here? I do not know what that is. I guess that is Arabic or something. But anyway, I think it may be some of that troll stuff happening. We've been getting a few of them lately, but that's all good. We just got a handful of people here right now. We'll wait just a couple more minutes. I'll let you know what Chris and I were talking, and soon he's going to be coming to a point where he's going to have some time that he can get away and start working on filming and doing the things he enjoys doing. He got to go hunting yesterday, and that's been it's been a while since he's been able to get out there, and he got a really nice buck. He got a big body 8-point buck, a really, really beautiful deer, and so he deserved it. I'm so thankful. Caucasian Squatch, how are you doing? Oh, I love the little picture. I forget what they call them next to your name. That is awesome. And there's Gracie and Ladybug. But anyhow, Chris and I are going to be trying something a little different this year. We got to wait till hunting season comes to an end. But we're going to go to all the different swamps that we would normally hunt in. This year has been far different. We're not getting to go hunting like we normally would. We've been just so busy working and doing other things at home. But we're going to be going to these different swamps and hiking through them, hiking around them, and filming it and showing you guys. Every swamp down here is different. It's like you're in a different part of the world. There's different plant life. Just everything is different in them. It's beautiful, but it's definitely a strange environment. It's like going from the palmetto, the areas that are loaded with palmetto bushes, to stepping into hardwoods with big oak trees and stuff, and it's that different. There's an extreme to it. Our neck of the woods is here. How are you doing? That is awesome. But we'll go ahead and I'm going to get these up. That is not. Yeah, that's one of them. All right, this first one's pretty long. There's 2 parts to this, and I have not read them. When Brother Don sent them to me, we were working on the garage and the other room and the roof out back. And so I took them and I threw them in the ring binder, and all I seen was the title on it. I haven't read anything on either one of them. So we'll be diving into this. It'd be new for me, just like it is for you guys. And this again is on the Barney and Betty Hill incident with UFO and the abduction. I got bit. Something stung me on the back today, right in my lower back. and I keep feeling like something's crawling on me. There's nothing on me, but it's that sting. I got a pretty good whelp. I think it was a hornet or spider. I hope it was a hornet. But we're going to go ahead and get into this. All right. This first packet is titled Barney and Betty Hill's New Hampshire UFO Nightmare of 1961. The date is September 19th and 20th of 1961. The location was U.S. Route 3 in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and the information source is eyewitness testimony and the medical evaluation. The preface says, somewhat more respectable in the eyes of many investigators are the tales of alien abduction and experimentation that began to spread during the 1960s. Possibly the most famous abduction tale of all was the one told by Betty Hill, age 41, and her 39-year-old husband, Barney. The Hill story began on the night of September 19th, 1961, as the two were returning to the Portsmouth, New Hampshire home from a vacation in Canada. While their car was traveling along U.S. Route 3, the couple noticed a bright star-like object moving through the southwestern sky. Barney Hill stopped the car so his wife could gaze at the object through 7x50 binoculars. He thought it was a small airplane until it changed course and curved toward them. They were a little more than 2 miles from North Woodstock when the UFO slid around in front of the car and hovered to the right of the highway 8 or 10 stories, as Barney estimated, above the ground. Barney Hill took the binoculars from his wife and stepped out onto the deserted highway for a closer look. The saucer-shaped UFO silently shifted to the left and approached the stopped car head-on. Then Barney Hill got an enormous shock. Through the binoculars, he could make out lit portals along the side of the craft, and behind the portals, he could see the illuminated interior where from 5 to 11 human-like figures were busily working. To Hill, the humanoids appeared to be wearing some kind of shiny black uniforms with billed caps. Their movements reminded him of German soldiers executing a military drill. They were looking directly at Barney from inside the car. Betty could hear her husband exclaiming, "I don't believe it. I don't believe it. This is ridiculous." The Hills claimed the craft came so close to them that it filled the field view of the binoculars. Terrified, Barney dashed back to the waiting car in a state of hysteria as the wife remembered, and they took off down the highway. As they drove, a series of inexplicable beeps seemed to come from the trunk, sounds that caused the car to vibrate. The couple made it home without further incident, but those few minutes of fright and excitement were to haunt them for years. Betty Hill began to dream nightly of a terrifying UFO experience. Barney Hill suffered from apprehension, insomnia, and a worsening of his duodenal ulcer. In reliving the incident in his own mind, Hill was disturbed when he realized that he was unable to account for more than 2 hours between the time they first encountered the UFO and the time they reached home. Where had the seemingly missing time gone? What had happened? As their anxieties grew, the Hills decided to get medical help. A local doctor recommended that they consult a prominent Boston psychiatrist, Dr. Benjamin Simon, to see if hypnotic regression could unravel the mystery surrounding the night of September 19th and allow them to pick up their lives again. The psychiatric treatments began in December of 1963, more than 2 years after the alleged UFO encounter. It was while under deep hypnosis that Barney and Betty Hill narrated a tale much stranger than the one apparently lodged in their conscious minds. Dr. Simon kept his tape recorder going while Barney Hill described his abduction by alien captors. Hill recounted being led up a ramp to the alien craft and ushered into an examination room. I could feel them examining me with their hands. They looked at my back, and I could feel them touching my skin, as if they were counting my spinal column. And then I was turned over, and again I was looked at. My mouth was open, and I could feel two fingers pulling it back. And then I heard as if some more men came in, and I could feel them rustling around on the left side of the table I was lying on. Something scratched very lightly, like a stick, against my left arm, and then these men left. Then my shoes were put back on, and I stepped down. I think I felt very good because I knew it was over. I went down the ramp and opened my eyes and kept walking. I saw my car, and Betty was coming down the road, and she came around and opened the door. Betty Hill told a similar story of physical examination. It seemed to her that the aliens were taking samples for later analysis. I go into this room, she began, and some of the men come in the room, and this man who speaks English. They stay a minute. I don't know who they are. I guess maybe they're the crew. And another man comes in. I haven't seen him before. I think he's a doctor. They bring the machine over. It's something like a microscope, only a microscope with a big lens. I had an idea they were taking a picture of my skin. Then they took something like a letter opener, only it wasn't, and they scraped my arm here. There was something like a piece of cellophane or plastic or something like that. They scraped and they put this that came off in the plastic. Betty Hill said she asked the apparent leader where his ship had come from, and he showed her the location on a star map. Then she was escorted back down the ramp so she could return to the car. The psychiatric examination of Betty and Barney Hill lasted 6 months. At the end of that time, Dr. Simon delivered his professional opinion. The charisma of hypnosis has tended to foster the belief that hypnosis is the magical and royal road to truth. In one sense, this is so, but it must be understood that hypnosis is a pathway to the truth as it is felt and understood by the patient. The truth is what he believes to be the truth, and this may or may not be consonant with the ultimate non-personal truth. Simon concluded that the abduction part of the Hill story was a fantasy, absorbed by Barney from Betty's retelling of her dreams following the encounter along the lonely New Hampshire road. Barney Hill recovered his health but died at the age of 46 from natural causes. Years afterward, Betty Hill claimed to see UFOs again, sometimes as many as 50 to 100 a night in what she called a special area of New Hampshire. But she never again claimed to be the target of kidnappers from other planets. Two particular aspects of the Hills account have helped to give it a certain amount of credibility in the eyes of many investigators. The first of these is a star map that Betty Hill drew following her hypnotic sessions. The chart was based, she said, on the one shown to her by the alien leader. In the late 60s, an elementary school teacher and amateur astronomer named Marjorie Fish read the Hill story and decided to see if Betty's map could be matched to any nearby star systems. After building a scale model of the stars within a radius of 33 light years from the Earth, based on the 1969 catalog of nearby stars, she discovered that the map corresponded closely, though not exactly, to a view of our sun and neighboring stars from a few light years beyond the Zeta Reticuli star system. Several astronomers verified the accuracy of Fish's model. Intriguingly enough, a number of these stars were unknown to Earthlings, at least, until the 1969 catalog was published. In other words, 8 years after the Hills experience. To be sure, critics have argued that the match between the model and Betty Hill's star map was a lucky coincidence, but proponents of the Hills UFO account maintain that the odds for this appear to be slim. The second significant feature of the Hills story is that their abduction experience, unlikely as it was, came over the years to be echoed by more and more people around the world. Many of them purportedly remember the details of these traumatic events only under hypnosis. Apparently sincere and frightened people reported abductions that usually followed the consistent pattern of car failure on a lonely road. The approach of alien creatures, paralysis, and transport onto an unidentified flying object, medical examination, and return to the car. Additional details and statements of the Hills abduction. We were driving along on a tarred road, and all of a sudden, without any warning or rhyme or reason or anything, Barney stopped suddenly and made this sharp turn off the highway, described Betty Hill in a first of bizarre events. Betty Hill claimed under hypnosis that she was examined with a machine from which long needle-tipped wires protruded. A needle was inserted into her navel for what Hill's abductor called a pregnancy test. Some UFO researchers interpret this procedure as one in which ova may have been removed from her reproductive tract. Barney grabs his binoculars from the car seat and steps out. He walks into a field to get a closer look, focuses the binoculars, and sees the object plainly. It has windows, and behind the windows, looking directly at him, humanoid creatures. Terrified, Barney stumbles back to his car, throws it into first gear, and roars off. But for some reason, he turns down a side road where 5 of the humanoids are standing on the road. Apparently unable to control their actions, Betty and Barney are easily taken back to the ship by the humanoids. While inside, they are physically examined, and one of the humanoids communicates to Betty. After the examination, she asks him where they are from. In response, he shows her a 3-dimensional map with various sized dots and lines on it. Where are you on the map? The humanoid asks Betty. She doesn't know, so the subject is dropped. Betty and Barney are returned unharmed to their car. They are told they will forget the abduction portion of the incident. The ship rises and then hurtles out of sight. The couple continue their journey home, oblivious of the abduction. Betty described the map as 3-dimensional, like looking through a window. The stars were tinted and slowed. The map material was flat and not thin, not a model. And there were no noticeable lenticular lines like our 3-dimensional processes. It sounds very much like a reflective hologram. Betty did not shift her position while viewing it, so we cannot tell if it would give the same 3-dimensional view from all positions or if it would be completely 3-dimensional. Betty estimated the map was approximately 3 feet wide and 2 feet high, with the pattern covering most of the map. She was standing about 3 feet away from it. She said there were many other stars on the map, but she only was able to specifically recall the prominent ones connected by lines and a small distinctive triangle off to the left. There was no concentration of stars to indicate the Milky Way, the galactic plane, suggesting that it represented reality. It probably only contained local stars. There were no grid lines. Interestingly, Betty Hill's dress she wore that night of the abduction did the next day have a pinkish powder visible in places. Betty decided not to wash the dress but save it as evidence. A movie was made for TV in 1975 about the events called The UFO Incident. A roadside plaque exists today on Route 3 in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, commemorating the third and final sighting and abduction location of the Hills' 1961 encounter. Wow. I think this is part of it. Oh, no, this is a different one. I'm sorry about that beeping. Oh, Kelly's here and Pappy's here. And Meredith. Awesome. And there's Daniel. Oh, thank you all for showing up. Thank you so very much. It's good to see everybody. All right, I don't think this is part of it. Okay, this is a different one, and then I'm going to move this one out. We're going to finish up the Betty and Barney Hill. And then we'll do this one, this little short one. Oh. All right. Okay. And this is the other part that has the pictures. I guess I need to leave that open. I'll get it right in a minute. All right. Guys, I'm sorry. I meant to do this beforehand. All right. I'll leave that out. All right. Now this is it's more details from Barney and Betty Hill's alien abduction from Lincoln, New Hampshire in the White Mountains with photos. Date September 19th and 20th of 1961. Same location, Lincoln, New Hampshire, Route 3 in the White Mountains. And the information source for this information is AMC Outdoors Appalachian Mountain Club Splash News. But there's Starlight and Riker's here. Well, everybody showed up. Awesome. In September of 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were driving from Montreal, Canada to Portsmouth in New Hampshire on their way home from their belated honeymoon. While driving through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, the couple experienced an extraterrestrial phenomenon that would launch them into the international spotlight and help shape the dialogue around future supernatural encounters. Betty and Barney Hill both worked long hours in Portsmouth. Betty was a social worker who handled child welfare cases, and Barney was a postal worker who often drove 60 miles a day and worked the night shift. In addition to their full-time jobs, the couple volunteered frequently. As an interracial couple, before those unions were accepted, the Hills were passionate about advancing the civil rights movement. They volunteered at their local church and were both members of the NAACP. After deciding to take a well-deserved break, the Hills planned a spontaneous road trip from Montreal to Niagara Falls. Though the couple had been married for 16 months, they had never been on their honeymoon and viewed this trip as the opportune time. They got in their car and impulsively left for the 3-day trip without even stopping by the bank to get extra money. On the last night of their trip, the Hills departed a diner in Vermont around 10 p.m., hoping to make it back to Portsmouth around 2 a.m. However, as they drove, they noticed a bright light in the sky that appeared to be following them. With every mile they drove, the light grew bigger and brighter. As a World War II veteran and a plane enthusiast, Barney Hill did not think much of the light at first, as it was in the middle of the night. He figured the light could not be coming from a commercial plane or a helicopter and assumed it was just a satellite that had gone off course. Nonetheless, the light continued to follow them, even as they drove through the winding roads of the White Mountains. Sometimes the light would move behind the trees and disappear, only to reappear moments later. Eventually, the couple grew so curious that they decided to pull over and investigate. Through a pair of binoculars, Betty realized that the light was not a satellite and was actually some sort of object spinning in the air, presumably a flying saucer. Barney also grew concerned. As a pragmatic, intellectual man, he was skeptical of any extraterrestrial explanation. but he had no alternative guess as to what the light could be. The couple continued driving until they reached Route 3 in Lincoln, when the object hovered just over 100 feet above the car. Barney abruptly stopped, got out of the car with a handgun, and saw something that was as big as a jet but as flat as a pancake. Behind the windows of the object were beings in gray uniforms who told Barney to put down his binoculars. He tried to raise his pistol, but somehow found himself unable to. Realizing that he was about to be captured, he ran back to the car and sped off. At some point, Betty and Barney Hill heard a strange beeping noise from their trunk, felt drowsy, and eventually lost consciousness. The next morning, the couple woke up in their house in Portsmouth with no recollection of the events that occurred the night before. However, Barney's shoes had been scuffed, Betty's dress had been torn, and both of their watches had stopped working. Trying to piece together what happened, Betty spent hours in the library reading about the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, NICAP, a civilian UFO group. She also filed a report to the Air Force concerned about radiation. In the next couple of years, the couple suffered from disturbing dreams and anxiety. They began seeing a psychiatrist named Benjamin Simon who helped them piece together what had happened on that night. Through months of sessions and hypnosis, a popular technique at the time, the couple began to recall what happened to them. According to the Hills, the UFO had landed on their car as they were speeding down the mountains and put them to sleep. Afterwards, the gray beings they had seen earlier had led them up a long ramp into the spacecraft. Once inside, the Hills were separated and individually tested. They were asked to climb on a metal table and remove their clothes, where the gray beings would pluck their hairs, take clippings from their nails, and peel off parts of their skin. Each sample was placed on something that resembled a glass slide. The gray beings also probed needles into their arms and legs and heads. Betty recalled that one needle was even inserted into her stomach as a pregnancy test. Throughout the ordeal, Betty and Barney Hill claimed that one of the beings was the leader, who was observing the process from the side. Later, alone with the leader, Betty asked where the craft had flown. Under hypnosis, she replicated the star map shown to her on the ship. Years later, a woman named Marjorie Fish attempted to interpret Betty's reproduction of the map and concluded that the beings had come from the star system in Zeta Reticuli. Though the story of Betty and Barney Hill was not the first tale of alien abduction, theirs was the most well-documented and feasibly legitimate. After this encounter, Betty Hill continued doing research on UFOs for the remainder of her life, and the story of the Hills became one of the most widely publicized alien encounters in history. It even shaped the way alien encounters are discussed today in the media. Before the Hills experience, aliens were portrayed as friendly creatures who would commute back and forth between Earth and their home planets. However, after the Hills shared their story, alien abductions became better known for their mystery and intrigue. Alien movies and sci-fi novels like The X-Files started to include common tropes, such as medical examinations and missing time. Although the Hills have both passed away, their legacy and the events that occurred in the White Mountains in 1961 have not been forgotten. Afterward, not have mentioned in the 1975 TV movie named The UFO Incident, starring James Earl Jones and Estelle Parsons, that portrayed the events of the abduction. In this movie, the Hills dog, a Dachshund, was in the back seat of their car at the time of the abduction. It is not clear whether this is fact, and if so, what happened to the dog during their abduction? Did it just remain in a mind-controlled, subdued state with no reaction to the gray alien invaders opening the car doors to escort the Hills to the spaceship ramp? The dog was in a personal photo with the Hills. The TV movie portrays Barney using binoculars to observe the gray being staring at him. at which time he yells they mean to take us, and he runs back to the car and speeds off in an attempt to lose the UFO. Then, for no apparent reason, he pulls off onto a lonely side road where the gray beings are in the middle of the road, approaching them and open their car doors to escort them. The movie portrays Barney as having his eyes closed during the abduction and examination out of sheer fright. Only when he is led back to his car does he open his eyes. The roadside plaque in Lincoln, New Hampshire, dedicated in 2011, commemorating Hill's abduction site, reads, "Betty and Barney Hill Incident. On the night of September 19th and 20th, 1961, Portsmouth, New Hampshire couple Betty and Barney Hill experienced a close encounter with an unidentified flying object in 2 hours of lost time while driving south on Route 3 near Lincoln. They filled an official Air Force Project Blue Book report of a brightly lit cigar-shaped craft the next day, but were not public with their story until it was leaked in the Boston Traveler in 1965. This was the first widely reported UFO abduction report in the United States." And these are the pictures with this one. This is how it looked when it was about 200 feet high, and this is how it looked after shifting over highway, descending to about 100 feet over the field. I'm trying to hold this for my fingers ain't blocking nothing. Let's see if I can get it up right. Where am I at? I'll get it, guys. Just bear with me for a second. There it is. I don't know if y'all can make that out or not. It's really, really strange. And this is Betty's torn dress she saved from the night of the abduction. This one's going to be a little harder to see. Yeah, there we go. You can see the big rip in the, I guess, the middle of the back. Well, all the pages are sticking together. This is the Hills in 1966, holding the book The Interrupted Journey by John G. Fuller, detailing their abduction story. All right, there's Mr. and Mrs. Hill. That picture doesn't look that long ago. This is roadside memorial in Lincoln, New Hampshire, dedicated to the Hills abduction site. And I'll just hold it up. I'm not going to read that off to you. I think I got it up high enough. Here we go. And that's in the Lincoln, New Hampshire. I don't know how to pronounce that right. It's pretty cool. They got that on the side of the road. I see your message there, Starlight. Please look up once in a while. I can't hold my book up and face you guys and read. This book is quite thick, and I will lose my place reading. Sorry about that. I know a lot of other people, they face the screen constantly while they read. I'm just not one of them. I'm sorry. Okay. And we'll do this. This is a short one. I think this is a Yeah, this is a short one here, and this is also on the UFO stuff. This is Stephen Kilburn's Interrupted Journey in Maryland, 1973. And the information source for this article is eyewitness testimony. I'm sorry about the background noise. Hey, Francesca. You must just be getting here. I'm sorry. Okay. The preface. While some people report encountering aliens in their homes, most are driving at night on dark, desolate roads. They think they see a lit object flying over the car or hovering in the distance, or feel they are being watched. As they continue on their journey, the steering wheel seems to be wrenched from the driver's control, and the car is guided by an outside force until it ultimately veers sharply off the road. Such is the recollection of Stephen Kilburn, a student at the University of Maryland, when he was supposedly abducted in 1973. Under hypnosis, he described two lights in the sky going over the highway and over the trees. I see a shadow of something. I'm coming down the hill, and I finally get to about the spot where I think it will be, and I pull over. I don't really want to go over there, but the car went to the right. It was really violent, as if sucked by a giant magnet. Just before a victim's car halts, the electrical system is said to fail mysteriously. The radio blares static, and then the engine dies. The driver tries frantically to restart the engine, but to no avail. Some victims report staying in the car. Others step outside despite their terror. Most remain rooted to the spot, unable to obey their basic self-protective impulses to run away or call for help. After Stephen Kilburn's car lurched to a stop beside a deserted Maryland highway, he watched dumbstruck as three figures approached from a nearby field. They're really strange, he recalled under hypnosis. They're small, below my shoulder. I see the faces and they're white, chalky. They look like they're made out of rubber. There's one, he's the boss. His eyes are really shining. They look black. I don't see any pupils. His head is not round. It's like an inverted teardrop. There is a nose, like a tiny, little raised ridge, and two little holes, like little pinholes. Most people tell of being abducted have described their alien kidnappers as short, 3 to 5 feet tall, but emphasize that the leader of the group is slightly taller. Some speak of alien beings with large domed heads set on small bodies, slits for eyes, and long, thin fingers and hands. The victims all report having felt afraid as the strange-looking beings advanced, but they also tell of an almost tranquilizing numbness or paralysis that overtook them, perhaps imposed by the aliens. That's strange. It's not a good place to be. I do not want to be abducted. Not as an adult. Starlight says, I've seen a bright light moving in and out of time too. There's so many people that have experienced the UFO events, the aliens, the craft. There's a lot of people that's experienced the beings. Hey, Robert. I didn't see you. Jump in. Awesome. I'm just going to make sure I haven't missed everyone. I've seen Meredith hopped in. And there's Anna Marie. So good to see everyone. God bless you all. It's so good to see you. And there's Aaron. Aaron snuck in for sure. That is awesome. Awesome. We're gonna step into a little different one. While Pappy's here, guys, I want to share this poem with you. Pappy sent me a poem and I went hunting for a little while. I think it was yesterday morning or day before. Whenever he sent it to me, when I got it, I forgot about it. I was in the woods and I remembered it, so I just opened it up to read it. And I started laughing, and it messed up my hunt, so I had to leave, but it was funny. But I'm going to share this with you. Our brother Pappy said it is okay for me to do that. I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. Pappy, I hope it do you justice, brother. I'm going to try to keep the rhythm of it. It's a poem that our Pappy Two Bears wrote, and it's called Santa's Big Feet. It was the day before Christmas not long ago at my cabin down by the creek. I was pondering the snow and how much would fall because the weather report was bleak. I knew my friends that lived in the woods would be struggling to find their next meal, so I packed up a bag of snacks for them all to let them know that I am keeping it real. Although I've never seen them, I know that they are here, hiding and watching what I do, and they know I like to share. Apples, nuts, and a few donuts too. I laid them all in a row under the tree at the usual spot that offered protection from the snow. I returned to the cabin and relit the stove, feeling good about what I've done. I went for my phone to check the weather when I discovered the phone was gone. Somewhere out there it had slipped away from the clip I carried it on. Lost in the snow between here and there, I figured that phone was gone. Around about the middle of the night came a squeak from the side porch door. Something had come a-poking around like I've heard many nights before. I flipped on the light while peeking outside, hoping to see the cause. Nothing but snow, big fluffy flakes. I thought, must be Santa Claus. I opened my door to look on the porch, and there lay the phone by the door. It was wet with snow melting, no puddle yet, newly placed on the mat on the floor. Beside it, so plain and incredible sight, I couldn't believe my eyes. A wet footprint so big and so long, it was an incredible size. Who would have known that the stories were true? They make their presence known to those who are aware and show respect when we venture into their home. Maybe sometime when things are just right, we'll get the chance to meet. Until that happens, I'll be satisfied knowing my Santa had big feet. And that is an original poem by our brother Pappy Two Bears. I love it. Pappy, thank you so much for sending that to us. I really needed a boost. And when I read that out there, I started laughing, and I had animals around me. I wasn't seeing anything, but I could hear them moving through the water. I was hunting a swamp, and I read that. I started giggling, and then I couldn't control it, and I started laughing, which, that'll mess the hunt up a little bit. But it was good. Brother Pappy, thank you so much. That is awesome. Oh, Beehive, 1959. It's good to see you. And there's another one of them Oogish Bakor. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. It's good to see everyone. Oh, absolutely good to see y'all. Riker says, very good. Was it true? Of course it was true, Riker. Brother Pappy said it is true. All right, this one, if y'all want to hear this one, this says photographs. I did not know that. This is another new one. Okay, I'm going to take it out. This one is, we're sliding away from the UFO thing. And this one is in it's a haunting investigation. And we'll just do this one more. I got to be up really early in the morning, but I wanted to see everybody here tonight and share some of this. And Oh, Beehive, thank you so much. It is the people in the chat that make this channel what it is. We got the greatest people that ever came across YouTube right here with us. Fantastic people. These are the true friends that I have on this planet are right here with us right now. And I'm very blessed to have all of you guys and gals. Okay, we're going to go into this haunting one right quick. I'm sorry about the glare. I think I got the right light on. I didn't even pay attention to the glare. Oh, there's Brother Don. Don Moore is in the house. Merry Christmas, Kevin. All right, we'll go ahead and start on this one. This is the haunting investigation of Castillo de San Marcos, St. Mark's Fort in St. Augustine, Florida. The years built for the fort is 1672 to 1695. Took 23 years to build it. The location is along the Matanzas River in St. Augustine, Florida. The information source is historical records and a ghost investigation by the spook hunters of Orlando, Florida. The fort's historical background. Standing sentry over St. Augustine, the nation's oldest city, is the formidable Castillo de San Marcos, positioned strategically on Matanzas Bay. The fort was built by the Spanish to protect the town and is the most often visited historic site in St. Augustine. Still standing after 349 years, obviously the fort has done its job of protecting the citizens of St. Augustine, allowing the city to grow and thrive to present day. The Castillo de San Marcos is the oldest masonry fort in the continental United States, after 9 wooden forts designed to protect St. Augustine were burned by invaders. The Spanish militia took on the monumental task of constructing a stone fort that would protect the city and its treasury from pirates, the British, and other attackers. The Castillo is made of coquina, a locally sourced stone-like compound made of shell and limestone. The use of coquina is the building material for both the Castillo de San Marcos and the nearby fort Matanzas, created fortresses that were nearly indestructible. Construction of the Castillo began in 1672 and took 23 years to complete. This stronger fortress was never taken in battle. The Castillo played a pivotal role in protecting Spanish St. Augustine from the late 1600s to the late 1800s. In 1924, the Castillo, or Fort Marion, as it was known at the time, was declared a national monument by President Calvin Coolidge. He signed a proclamation that also designated nearby Fort Matanzas a national monument. The Castillo de San Marcos de St. Augustine is America's only true medieval structure. The Spanish began building the fort in 1672, taking 23 back-breaking years to complete it. It is built from coquina, an indigenous composition of bonded shells that can easily absorb the impact of a cannonball. The fort has experienced many attacks, but it has never been conquered. Through its long history, the fort has held untold numbers of prisoners, including Seminole Indians, Geronimo's Chiricahua Band, pirates, and prisoners of war. The famous Seminole leader Osceola was held there before being taken to Fort Moultrie, South Carolina, where he died. That's a weird story of its own. After Osceola's death in 1838, his head was cut off by Dr. Frederick Whedon, the Army doctor who had treated him. Dr. Whedon returned to St. Augustine with the embalmed head and displayed it in his drugstore for many years. There are stories about how he used the head to discipline his children by placing it on their bedposts. After the doctor's death, the Whedon family donated the Osceola's head to a New York surgeon who gave it to the museum at the Medieval College of New York City. The head was lost in an 1866 fire when an 1866 fire destroyed the museum. Over the years, the fort has collected more than its share of ghost stories, making it a promising place to look for the dead that are not quite departed. So, by arrangement with the National Park Service, the Orlando group, the Spook Hunters, was granted permission to conduct an after-hours ghost hunt in the ancient fort. The best time to explore a haunted fort is at night when the tourists have departed. The Spook Hunters, by the way, include a wide range of members, from skeptics to believers, who use various ghost detecting devices like EMF detectors, infrared cameras, digital cameras, video recorders, and even a spirit board. Chief Spook Hunter Owen Slider relates a thunderstorm was raging as we entered the Sally Port of the Castillo. It was dark and damp inside, and the occasional flashes of lightning reflecting off the musty stone walls made a perfect setting for a ghost hunt. The Spook Hunters used the old guard room as a staging area before splitting off in different directions to try their individual skills at detecting spirits. Standing inside the stark place, we were momentarily transported back to time when prisoners had shuffled along inside these walls. Using flashlights, we scanned those walls, looking at years of graffiti etched into the stone, and through the EMF detectors indicated no abnormal energy fields. As we stood there, lightning flashes lit up the courtyard and the sounds of thunder rolled overhead. The deep rumbling noises could have easily been mistaken for cannon fire. They say that if you put your ears to the walls of the Castillo, you can hear battle sounds. One of our party tried this, but got only wet ears. The first unexplainable occurrence happened in the old prison room when Spook Hunter Karen reported smelling a fragrance she called patchouli. This was interesting because other people have reported smelling perfume here, a scent that some claim belongs to the ghost of Senora Dolores Mary. According to the tale, she was having a love affair with Captain Manuel Abella when Dolores' husband, Colonel Garcia Mary, discovered their shenanigans. He sealed them up alive behind a stone wall in the gunpowder room. Now, if you believe the story, then you'll believe Senora Dolores is the woman who is frequently seen romping about, leaving the lingering scent of her perfume. In 1833, a cannon fell through the fort's gun deck into a narrow, secret room in which were found human skeletons. It appeared that some unfortunate souls had, in truth, been sealed up in the fort, although some records say the remains were animal bones. The most interesting event occurred in the room where Seminole Indians were held during the Second Seminole War. Photographs taken in this dark room showed orbs of light that could not be explained. There were no reflective surfaces in this room, no floating dust particles, and the anomalies were caught on digital camera, ruling out film flaws. Following the unexplainable orbs, one of the spook hunters reported getting high readings on his EMF detector. He had followed these readings from the bottom of the stairway up to the terraplane or the gun platform, where the energy seemed to dissipate. Owen tried to recreate this reading by following the same course, but could not pick up on the energy field. All possible causes were checked out, such as motion detectors and electrical systems, but we found no explanations for the weird EMF readings. During the visit, no spiritual entities materialized, but the strange orbs, the scent of patchouli, and the unexplainable EMF reading were enough for the spook hunters to declare their hunt a success. Well, that's interesting. I'd like to see that place, but during the daytime with a whole bunch of other people. I don't want to be there with no boogeyman at night. Oh, that is a really cool place. And this is the fort. I think I got it up. There we go. I'm having to see under the bottom of it so you guys can see it. He's got a few pictures with it. And for you guys and gals that are new here, our brother Don Moore, who's in the chat right now, he's the one who provided these reports for us. He's the one that does the research. He is our main guy on the researching. Interior courtyard and stairs in the Castillo de San Marcos, St. Augustine, Florida. That is a pretty place. Looks like I've seen something like that in some of these old movies that we've watched. I know I've seen it on TV somewhere. Interior gunpowder room in the Castillo de San Marcos, St. Augustine, Florida. And there's the gunpowder room. I guess that would be like the battery. Makes you wonder how they glued them together, bonded them. That is so neat. Beautiful place. I don't understand why a doctor would take a prisoner's head and put it in a jar. That's not the kind of doctor I'd want practicing on me. Go in there with a splinter to get removed and they amputate your buttocks, your backside. Don, I will absolutely be going to that fort sometime. Definitely going down there sometime. I'd love to go down there. I like the old stuff like that old history. I'll make sure that we haven't missed anybody. I like to try to greet everyone. Everyone here is part of us, whether they're friend or family, they are part of us. 99% of us are family here. And what Beehive is putting on there, it says, I have heard great things about this channel. That is you guys and gals that make that happen. And I thank you for it. I really do. Because we certainly be what we are now without all of you. We wouldn't be there. I wonder if we got a short one. What do we got? We're here at an hour. Let me see if we got something short right quick that we could put up. I think that is, that's a long one. That'll be, I don't want to get too far ahead. I wonder if I could pull this one out. Hang on a minute. I think I got a. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Okay. We can move this one, I believe. Yeah, we'll do that. This will work. Golly. It takes some muscle to open this ring binder. I'm getting weak. That's all right. It's all fun. It is all fun. All right, this one. I don't need that. We're going to get into the big hairy guys for a little bit. We'll do a few on this one. For some reason, I got a blur on this. Yeah, from my left eye. All right, this is Wild Man Yoho Wander of Ellisburg, New York, 1818. The location is Ellisburg, New York, Jefferson County. And the information sources is Watchman of Exeter, New York, September 22nd of 1818. The Gazette of Sackett's Harbor, New York, October 8th, 1818. in the Journal and Republican of Lowville, New York, August 18th of 1921. Another wonder. Report says in the vicinity of Ellisburg was seen on the 30th by a gentleman of unquestionable veracity an animal resembling the yoho or wild man of the woods. It is stated that he came from the woods within a few rods of this gentleman and stood and looked at him and then took his flight in a direction which gave him a perfect view of him for some time. He is described as bending forward when running, hairy, and the heel of his foot narrow, spreading at the toes. Hundreds of persons have been in pursuit for several days, but nothing is further seen or heard of him. The frequent and positive manner in which his story comes induces us to believe it. We wish not to impeach the veracity of this highly favored gentleman, yet it is proper that such naturally improbable accounts should be established by the mouth of at least two direct eyewitnesses to entitle them to credit. It's kind of hard to talk that way. It's hard to read that that way too. This is the nude wild man discovery in New Hampton. The year is 1870. The location is New Hampton, New York, in Orange County. The information source for this article is the Times of New York, August 7th, 1870. A wild man discovered near New Hampton, New York. A wild man has been discovered near New Hampton, Orange County, who is creating quite an excitement in that vicinity. A few days ago, a party of gentlemen were out shooting along the Big Ditch, a stream which flows through the town, when their attention was attracted by a strange being in a nude state with a long hair and a wild appearance, who appeared to be a man who had been running wild for some time and who probably had been living in the mountains. He was apparently busy in the destruction of frogs and snakes, and when he observed the party, he set up a fierce yell and fled for the woods. A small party gave chase, but was unable to ascertain his whereabouts. He has since been seen by several of the citizens of Dawsontown, but he manages to keep always at a distance. It is probable that he is an escaped lunatic. "18-inch long tracks found in Big Run in 1888. My bad. Sorry about that. The location is Big Run, New York, Jefferson County. The information source for this article is the Democrat of Olean, New York, November 8th, 1888. We thought it was about time for the semi-annual Woolly Wildman story, and here it comes. The McKean Democrat says that the people in the vicinity of Big Run, Jefferson County, are considerably exercised over the discovery in the woods of tracks 18 inches long, which, being unlike those of any known animal, give rise to the belief that they are those of a wild man." That is a huge foot. That's some of them big boy shoes. 18 inches. Gee whiz. Insane shipwrecked sailor turns killer wild man. 1893. The location is Rockaway Beach, Long Island, New York. The information source for this article is the Daily Times of Middleton, New York, November 29th, 1893. A hunt for a wild man. Shipwrecked and insane sailor terrorizes Rockaway Beach, armed with a gun and sword. For 2 weeks, the maniac mate of a lost schooner has run wild on Long Island, and now it is proposed to hunt him down with a posse and lock him up. New York, November 29th. There will be a manhunt on Rockaway Beach today in which someone is sure to get hurt. On one side will be a maniac armed with a fowling piece and a knife, and on the other, 10 resolute fishermen headed by the 6-foot chief of police. For 2 weeks, the inhabitants of Rockaway Beach, Long Island, have been terrorized by what has been described as a wild man. It now turns out to be the maniac sailor. 3 weeks ago, the schooner Maggie Devine ran on the rocks just outside of Rockaway Inlet in a heavy gale. She went to pieces in the breakers, but all her crew escaped save one. This was the mate James Rush, who was washed overboard and was given up for lost. The wild man and the mate are now proposed to be one and the same. Lives on raw clams. Ever since the night of the wreck, the wild man has made his home in the woods near the village and among the rocks on the beach, at times seeking shelter in a dilapidated shed known as Uncle Duck's shanty. His nether regions are encased in tattered blue overalls. He wears a frayed and soiled white blouse and a sailor's hat. His feet are bare, and his long unkempt hair and beard hang down upon his brawny shoulders and massive chest. 8 days ago, John Louth, a wealthy hardware merchant of this city, while driving on Rockaway Beach, saw the wild man. He ran into the undergrowth and disappeared. On the same day, a fisherman named MacDonald and George Farrell came upon him. He scared them so badly that they got away as fast as they could. The wild man was not seen again until Friday last. Then he chased from the beach to the village Edward Tracy, one of the oldest inhabitants. On the same day, in the forenoon, John Corning, a contractor of Rockaway, with one of his workmen, William McVeigh, was returning from Rockaway Park. In the middle of the road, they encountered the demented sailor. He struck Corning on the back of the neck with a club and felled him. McVeigh grappled with the wild man, but he escaped into the brush. A posse after him. The same afternoon, Miss H.L. MacArthur, the wife of Rockaway's chief of police, was returning home from Rockaway Park when the wild man came behind her and seized her by the throat. He tore her right ear with his talon-like nails and pounded her head on the ground, rendering her unconscious. As she is in a delirious condition, her physician fears for her life. He has captured a gun and has become more than ever a menace to the safety of the people of Rockaway Beach. Police Captain MacArthur, with a posse, was out looking for him yesterday afternoon, but without success. Captain MacArthur went to Long Island City last night to obtain an armed posse of deputy sheriffs to capture him. A reward of $500 has been offered for his arrest by the citizens of Rockaway. I keep getting these OneDrive messages. I don't know how to delete that OneDrive. Afterthoughts. Was this actually an insane shipwrecked sailor turned into a wild man who murdered, attacked, and injured unsuspecting people around his beach town on Long Island? Or was it a killer? A rogue Bigfoot that had found human items, used them, and managed to evade all capture? There is no information on whether this individual was ever captured. It's assumed the attack stopped at some point and the individual disappeared. That's interesting. I like those old articles. They're so cool. And thank you, Brother Don, for can't hardly open this thing no more. It's kind of hard to open, but I've got arthritis in my hands and it's flared up a little bit, so it makes my hands feel really, really weak. And we'll do these other ones when we do the next show. I just wanted to do something little tonight. I don't know how much time I'm going to have tomorrow night. I've got to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I am actually going hunting tomorrow morning, and then I got to be back in time to run about 45 miles up the road and pick up a load of hay. And we got a lot to do tomorrow, but I'm going hunting in the morning. Hopefully the Lord will bless us with a deer. That would be fantastic. But if not, it'll be nice being out there. I will be filming. I always film. You guys don't see everything. I filmed today, and I have not went over the video, so I don't know if I caught anything at all. If I caught anything on it and I'm able to figure out the editing on the computer with it, then I'll upload it. But if I didn't catch anything on it worth sharing, then I'll probably end up deleting it. That's usually what happens. But thank you all for coming over and hanging out with us tonight. I'm sorry it was just short notice. It's very hard for me to make any plans right now. Until things slow down, I gotta take advantage of whatever time that I get when I get it. Every now and then I got enough time to post a heads up, an hour or two before we do the show, but it's not often. But that'll change soon. Oh, thank you so much, Anna Marie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You to our neck of the woods. Love and light to everybody. God bless each and every one of you. Do any of you have anything you need to put up and share with the rest of us here? Do you have any prayer requests? If you do, if you'll put it up in the chat, I will throw it up on screen right quick. Pappy, it's all good, brother. I absolutely enjoyed that poem. I was kind of not really blue feeling, but I just wasn't really full of joy when I was out there, and reading that just really, it put me where I needed to be spiritually, and I sure thank you for that. Absolutely. I was having a rough time. Oh, thank you, Anna Maria. Thank you all for coming over. Kelly, thank you. Thank you so very much. God bless you. And I think everybody, I didn't catch much of the chat. I was reading. I know some people get aggravated because I'm looking down when I'm reading, but I've got weird things going on with me. When I broke my neck, I can't hold anything up in front of me to read it for any length of time, and I have problems with my hands. I can't look straight down like that, or I end up getting problems in the back of my neck, and I get an insane headache. So I try to make the best with what I got. Oh, Ray Doll's here and Jeff's here. Oh, it's good seeing you guys. Yeah, Francesca's been multitasking too. There's so many on here that are just do so much at once, and Dawn's one of them. Francesca's definitely one of them. There's so many of y'all, and I struggled to get one thing done at one time. I balanced on accident. Yeah, Jeff, I broke my back 3 times. I definitely know that feeling, and I broke my neck once, and I'll tell you, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad the Lord didn't decide to take me. It kind of slows you down when you mess yourself up, but it's all good. Ray Doll says, cut into my senior citizen half. Oh, that's funny. We didn't mean to wake nobody up. Thank you, Riker. I hope if I have a good hunt tomorrow, I will be filming it. I don't know I know a lot of you have seen some of the short video clips I'll post during hunting season. My muzzleloader has I mount the camera, the GoPro on top of the scope on it. And so I do film my hunts, all of them. And if I pull the trigger with a muzzleloader, you got this huge cloud of smoke as soon as you pull the trigger. And you got a split half a second at best that you can see if you hit the animal before the smoke overtakes your entire field of view. Sometimes when I pull the trigger, I blink, and when I open my eyes, the deer's gone. I don't know where he went. I didn't see him. And so I can play it back on the video, and I can see for sure if I did hit him in a good spot. And if it's going to be an easy find, I don't like taking a guess shot, and I don't want to hurt an animal. I don't want to wound one that he's going to die a week later somewhere else. That would kill me if something like that happens. The Lord blesses you with meat for your family. Just try to be smart about it. Don't hurt the animal. Just make it quick and painless, because I believe that the Lord will send them back. That's, in my view, that's why animals know when they're born, they know they got to walk immediately. They know where their mother's teat is. They know what they can eat, what they can't eat. They are already trained. And I believe it's because the spirit of the animals have been here so many times that the Creator made a certain number of animals. And once so many die, he places the spirit, the soul of those animals back in the womb of a mother. And she births them over again. And they've been here so many times, they know, oh, don't eat that, it'll kill me right away. And that's just my personal opinion. But I believe when we hunt them, I think the Lord does send them back. If they get hit by a car, whatever happens, when their spirit leaves their body, I do believe that God sends them back to the earth. He loves the animals, or he wouldn't have had Noah build a 450-foot boat. The boat was to save the animals. Oh, thank you so much, Francesca. I just seen that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I absolutely appreciate the support. I love you guys and gals, all of you. Y'all have been an absolute blessing for me and my family here. I can't thank you enough. Oh, Aaron, I see that now. I'm going to put this up. Aaron says, prayer request for the friends and family of Lori P. She passed last Wednesday. She was a lifelong friend in the last 2 months. I had her staying with me. Very tragic. She left behind a 14-year-old daughter. Oh, geez. You guys, please pray for Lori's family, and pray for her daughter, all of her friends, everyone that's connected to her. Thank you so much, Aaron, for sharing that and letting us know. We'll absolutely add her to our prayer list tonight. The Lord hears all prayers. That's our spirit cell phone, to the other side is a prayer. And he doesn't have voicemail. He always answers. It's just a matter of us making the call, saying the prayer, and reaching out to him. But yes, please, before you guys go to bed, pray for Lori's family and pray for her daughter, the friends that have been there with her, and just everybody who's impacted by her going home now. We should celebrate life, but there's also a mourning process involved. So please honor that for these wonderful people who leave before us. We'll see them again. We'll get to meet Lori in the next life. Those that don't know her, we'll get to meet her. It'll all be good. We'll all be together, and it won't be long. And for those that are unsure, the Bible says 1,000 years in heaven is equivalent to 1 day in heaven. So the day that all of us that are here right now, the day that we pass away, when our body dies and we go to heaven, we're going to arrive on the same day that our great grandparents got there. We're going to get there the same day. So it's going to be a new place for all of us. And that blows my mind. I think about that so often. I lost my son a few years ago. And when I get to make it to heaven, I'm going to get there the same day that he arrived, the same day that my mother and father arrived, the same day that my grandparents arrived. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome time. And my family I leave behind, I am going to come and visit them often. I'm going to make sure they never forget about me. Well, I'm kidding. I wouldn't haunt nobody. Even if given the opportunity, I wouldn't. But yes, Aaron, will absolutely be praying for Lori and her family. That is hard. She must have been really young. I have a 14-year-old daughter. That's heartbreaking when children lose their mother, young children. That is so heartbreaking. I don't like it. I know it's part of life, but it's not the part that I like. Us old people are supposed to go first. we go so that we can watch over our children and we can watch them as they grow. And hey, brother Butch. Butch is here. That is awesome. It's always awesome seeing Butch and seeing everybody else here. But I'm gonna try to do a show tomorrow night. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. We are going out of town Friday, and we're gonna be gone for the day. But where we're going, I can't go in. Kim's got an appointment over there. I'm just going to drive her because it's a few hours drive. And while we're there, I'm going to probably go to the local park or go to the woods somewhere at the roadside and just go hiking and hope I'm not trespassing. But I'm going to film. If I got a good signal, I may just do a live stream while I'm waiting on her. There's no telling. Ray said, I'm going to be like the ghost of Christmas past. Oh, no, I wouldn't come back and haunt nobody. I'd like to come back and watch and see what they're doing, make sure they're doing right, and kind of nudge them when they're doing wrong. But I've done enough wrong in my lifetime. I can't knock someone down for making errors because I've outdone most people on that side. Oh, Erin says she was 41. Wow. That is young. She's still a puppy. 41. I can't believe that. That's heartbreaking. Erin, I'm so sorry. She will have a lot of prayers coming out to her and her family. I assure you that the prayers have already started. We have got an amazing group of people here. Our family here at Standing Goats Rescue is unbelievable. It doesn't matter how bad I feel. Anytime we get a show going, I do my best to hide it. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm not feeling good. And just having you guys and gals here, it does something to me spiritually. And I think it does it to everybody. You get that many fantastic people. I mean, great people concentrating. It doesn't matter where we're at in the world. We're under the same thought process, that same energy. And that energy is the Spirit of God, the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. And when we're all like here, we're watching YouTube, but we're all on the same part of it. And that energy field is Holy Spirit. We're all connected. And it's a physical thing. And that is amazing. It's so good to see everyone. I'm not going to drag this out no more. I've got to get to bed. I got to be up at 3:00, and I got to meet Chris and his father. We're going to hunt together until noon, and then 11:00, and I got to be back home so that I can change clothes, grab the trailer, and go pick up hay. And then we got several other stops. We got a lot going on tomorrow, but I'm going hunting in the morning. So please pray for my safety while I'm out there. If the Lord wants me to harvest an animal tomorrow, He will provide me the opportunity. I never pray that God will let me harvest an animal. I always pray that He'll give me the opportunity and leave it up to me if I make the harvest or not. And when I pray that, I see more animals. Anytime I pray that, I will definitely see deer or wild pigs or both. I don't always shoot them. I don't shoot everything I see. I'm not a killer, a murderer of animals. I hunt for food, but I'm very selective. Yep, absolutely, Rick. It definitely lifts us up. Oh, there's Connor. Amber's Paraworld. I'm not sure what that is, Connor. There's brother Danny Church. I chatted with him for a little bit earlier. Yep, absolutely. We just Danny, we shared some stories, some articles. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction case. We went over some of that and just a little bit on some paranormal stuff. and a few old articles. We didn't do a whole lot tonight. I don't have a lot of time. I got to get some rest because I got to be up early so I can get out of the door early. I am very slow to move when I wake up. Oh, thank you so much, Aaron. Absolutely, thank you. I appreciate that greatly. Hey, Mark. Nope. That's not a bald spot in the front. That's a gray patch. I don't know why it looks bald on here. My hair's like carpet. Nope. I've actually got my PJs on. I'm ready for bed. I got to be up really early, and I just left my hat in the room. Whenever I empty my pockets out at the end of the night, I carry a pocket knife with me. I got an inhaler because I have lung disease. I got all kind of junk I carry. Everything goes in my ball cap. And so I didn't want to leave everything rolling around the dresser just so I could have my ball cap on out here. But I think everybody here has seen me beat up, bloodied up, and everything else, but it's all good. No, Connor, I did not. I did not see that flyer. Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much, brother. I would would die if I got one of them great big bucks like so many people got. I would fall out. I never killed a real big one. An 8-point was the biggest one I ever got, but I'm not a horn hunter. I mounted that one deer because it was the largest deer I ever killed, and I mounted it. And I don't know how many I've harvested in my life. It's been a pile of them, but I don't hunt horns. I had a whole bunch of just the horns from deer that's been harvested through the years, and I sold the majority of them on eBay a few years ago, and then I gave Brother Chris a bunch of them, and I gave a bunch of others away, and I got just a few left out there. I was wanting to make some racks out of them to hold our leashes and harnesses we use for the goats. I wanted to use the antlers for that, but I'm never going to get around to doing that. I don't have time, but it's all good. Yep, Butch, absolutely. Just to bring food into the house, fill the freezer. Last year, you guys know I got one pig the entire season, and it was a bad year last year, but I knew I wasn't supposed to hunt, and I hunted anyway, and it was my 7th year, and I should have rested and not hunted last year, but I've got to be in the woods. Whether I'm hunting or not, I got to be out there. It's where my heart is. When the Lord comes for me, I hope he does it in the woods. That's where I want to be. But guys, if there's nothing else that you have that you want to share with us right now, I'll go ahead and start closing this out. And for those that are new, I like to pray sort of like an umbrella prayer, just a simple prayer that encases all of us, humanity as a whole. I do it when I'm in the room at night. I do it when I go to the woods before I leave the car. I pray, and I pray for everyone. And it's just if you pray for only yourself all the time, and to me, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like something's going to backfire on me. So I try to pray for everybody else too. Mark, thank you. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate it. And hopefully something will happen tomorrow. I'll have a successful hunt. If I do, provided it's clean, I'm not going to show anything if there's a lot of blood, or if I do make a harvest and there's blood, there's no way to hide it or to get away from it. I won't film none of it. I may show a picture or I'll get the deer or pig over to where I can wash him off in the swamp water and then cover the wound up. I'm not going to show that stuff. I know a lot of people are interested in the damage the black powder gun does to an animal, but in my mind, it is very disrespectful to that animal, and it's very disgraceful. And I'm not going to do it. And if I can't hide the wound on the animal and I can't hide the blood, then I just won't show. I won't film it to show it, period. I'm not going to do that, because I've got to answer for all of that in the end when I'm standing before the Lord, and I don't want to answer for anything like that. It just doesn't seem right. But I'm going to go ahead and just to do a prayer over everyone, all of us and everyone else, and close this out. But thank you all for being here, and I absolutely mean that. The love and honor I have for all of you guys and gals here right now it's just unmatched. The greatest friends I have on planet Earth are right here. It's you all. And my outside life, I don't really have one. Brother Chris, I do a lot with, and when I get time, with Connor. But that's it. That's the extent of it. I don't go anywhere. I'm either working, or normally I'd be hunting, but I just haven't had time. Well, there's a brother Eric with Gypsy Road. But it's so good. Pappy, thank you so much. I'm going to throw that up. Pappy is our wise brother. Absolutely. Those who lift others up in prayer will be sure to receive their own unspoken prayers from Creator who knows your heart, your hearty. Absolutely. And that is spot on. Brother Pappy, thank you so much. Eric and Connor and Butch, the few that just showed up late, I started early tonight because I have to be up really early and I want to try to get some sleep. And I apologize for ending it on you already. We've been here a little over an hour and a half, and a little longer than what I was hoping on, but it's hard for me to stop. When all of you show up, it's hard for me to just shut it off and walk away. So I have to do it. But I'll definitely be seeing everyone again very, very soon. Brother Mark, thank you so much for the blessings on my hunt tomorrow. I absolutely appreciate that. And yes, and a happy Gypsy Road year. You got it, Brother Eric. Yes, indeed. Merry Christmas to everyone. Guys, I'm going to throw a prayer out and we'll close down for the night. Our Father who art in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing all of us to come together and to share these amazing articles that our brother Don has sent to us. Father, we ask that you place your Holy Spirit into the lives, the minds, and the hearts of all of those who are affected by Lori leaving so early. Father, watch over her young daughter and touch her heart so that she knows without doubt that her mother is where she's supposed to be and that she's in good hands. Father, I ask that you just comfort her, comfort the rest of the family, and comfort the friends that are involved with Lori. And we thank Aaron for sharing that with us, and we ask that you bless everyone here tonight. That you place your hands in their lives, that they're all protected and they get through these holidays and into the new year without accident or incident. Father, bless us all, that we're lifted up, that we're glorified, that we may glorify you and honor you through your actions and words. We thank you for this opportunity, and we thank you for all that you've placed in our paths and our lives. And we ask that you please guide us, that we fulfill your will that you've placed on us, and that we please you through all that we do. We love you, we honor you, we thank you, and we give you all the glory in Christ Jesus. Yeshua's name I pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody here. All of you guys and gals. A very Merry Christmas to you. Brother Daniel. Daniel made it too. Thank you. And I'm tickled. I'm so blessed to have everyone here. But we will see you again. I'm going to try to do a Christmas show if it works out. I don't know how much time we're going to get, but I'm going to try to. Just don't hold me to it. If not, if I don't make it for Christmas Eve, just something brief, just to say hello to everybody and wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. I love doing that. Yep, absolutely. And in Jesus' name, indeed. The Son of the Most High. But Merry Christmas to y'all. I love you. If there's anything that I can do for you, please don't hesitate. Reach out to me. My email, standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. And if you will write encounter in the subject line, I will get to it immediately. I will get to it ahead of the others. If you have something important that you need to get to me, that's the fastest way to do it. But thank you all for being here. Brother Kyle said it right there. Quick and to the point. Merry Christmas to all and God bless. Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. Brother Kyle, thank you for being here. And Butch and Rick and Mark and just all of you. There's so many that showed up tonight. You've blessed me heavily. Thank you. And I will see you very soon. God bless and good night.